A dictatorship is a form of government where a country or group of countries is ruled by one person or political entity. They exercise mechanisms to ensure they stay in power. It's a type of authoritarianism where every aspect of public and private behaviours is regulated by politicians. Political propaganda is used to support the ruling party and decrease the influence of alternative governments. In the 19th and 20th centuries, monarchies began to decline. Dictatorships such as the USSR, Italy, and Germany, and constitutional democracies such as Britain, France, and America emerged as major forms of government. After World War I, Germany was blamed for the war and humiliated through the Treaty of Versailles, forced to pay reparations as their economy began to suffer. Many of the citizens felt the army was betrayed by the people who signed the armistice and the treaty, dubbed the November Criminals, and the protesters of the war. Germany was thrown into a period of civil unrest, which allowed right-wing parties to blame the government for the Versailles Treaty and the economic depression that hit Germany in the 1920s. Gustav Stresemann organised for Germany to use loans from the United States to help pay back reparations through the Dawes and Young Plan.
Then, in 1929, the Great Depression happened. It led to American banks withdrawing their loans from Germany, and the already struggling German economy collapsed overnight. Hitler took advantage of the people's anger, offering them convenient scapegoats and a promise to restore Germany's former greatness. Mainstream parties proved unable to handle the crisis, while left-wing opposition was too fragmented by internal squabbles. And so, some of the frustrated public flocked to the Nazis, increasing their parliamentary votes from under 3% to over 18% in just 2 years.
Adolf Hitler is appointed Chancellor on 30th of January 1933. He is known as the Chancellor in Chains, as people behind his appointment, such as Franz von Papen, believed they could control him. However, their agendas became overshadowed by Hitler's growing power. The Reichstag fire of February 1933 and the subsequent arrest of Marinus van der Lubbe, a Dutch communist, was used by Hitler to push for emergency decrees. On February 28, 1933, the decree of Reich President for the protection of the nation and the state was issued by Hindenburg and suspended constitutional civil rights, allowed secret police to hold people indefinitely in protective custody, hold people in imprisonment without trial, repressed the Communist Party within Germany, and would allow the central government to take over local states not keeping order. This was to become the basic law of the Third Reich and Hitler's dictatorship. March 23, 1933, saw the Reichstag, relocated at Kroll Opera House, pass the Enabling Act, law for terminating the suffering of the people and the nation. This gave Hitler and the cabinet emergency powers for 4 years, authorizing them to pass decrees without Hindenburg's involvement. To be passed as constitutional, it needed 213 majority. It exceeded it, 441 to 94. Only the Socialist Party voted against it, since the KPD was banned. The act was renewed in 1938 and was the virtual constitution of the Third Reich. Under Nazi leadership, Germany's ideologies were defined. Race, which became implemented in their policies, such as the Nuremberg Laws in 1935, Pan-Germanism, a unified German state with all German-speaking people, and Lebensraum, living space, which would involve the invasion of other countries and either the mass execution of impure blood or slaves from the people on the land. Through this, Germany could achieve autarky. It must be noted that Benito Mussolini's dictatorship in fascist Italy never implemented any racial laws. Mussolini's aims were to rebuild the Roman Empire, to seek revision of the 1919 Paris Peace Settlement, similar to Germany, and to be respected as a major European power, pursuing the development of the Italian army. The debate surrounding Hitler's dictatorship was that his government was polycratic as opposed to totalitarian. While Hitler was the indisputable leader of the Nazi Party, historian Ian Kershaw cites Hans Mommsen, who speaks of a Hitler unwilling to take decisions, frequently uncertain, exclusively concerned with upholding his prestige and personal authority, influenced in the strongest fashion by his current entourage, in some respects a weak dictator.